This is day 791 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you'd like to sponsor Arukh share or more of the Arukh Yomi, please contact me directly. Be greatly appreciated. They were doing some tough side design Sifu test. The tough side Ches Sif base. You test Zeman time. You designate two birds. Makam Shloshim Ravim and Biaga. The next they found three mixed together. And you can't recognize which are the two you designated. Certain amount of shot, also no matter what. And if we're going to say the two left and these are other ones, obviously also. I feel like you're going to say the two of these are the ones he designated. You have third, which you didn't prepare, which is mixed among them. Below me, but don't say it's bata baro. Because live animals are chashiv and they're not bata. Besides, it's going to be mutter tomorrow anyway, so therefore, Davishesh Matir is not bata. Mr. Burr says Achrayim said that this is all if you left them tied or untied, and found the third one, also in the same state, tied or untied, depending what the other two was. But if you found two, if you left two together, tied together, and you found them tied together, you found a third one which is not tied, it doesn't answer the two. Okay, that's logical. Milfisa says one of them was eaten, or fell to the sea. We would be master all of them. Because we have the we're told that the Isser is the one that got eaten or was lost. Because they're there, semi confused. Another shani achrinu kama chai gamazim. But we're afraid these other ones all together. It's not quite a bit to barov. So then they will be also even if one was missing. The Mishnah Berurah is Mako. Because I guess presumably because it's the Rabbanon, and it says that if one is eaten or lost, you can make them. He says in the brackets here, I am again once you go to Yudaj, Kosim come on the Sham, the shine goes those holy of us asuyin ledados. Birds are different because they waddle away. So Lachashin Lakulu Achrininu, I guess that they waddle means they go slowly. So there we're not concerned that these are all completely other birds. And it says, oh, that's only in the next case. We're going to see when you left three and found two. Not when you left two and found three. There's for sure an Isser also one. And so therefore, since we have to say one of them came from elsewhere, so maybe the other two as well. So it sounds like he is more machman than Mishnah Berurah in this. Because the Sharati in fact writes that by Shnayim Matzah Shloisha also you can be Mekom. Chaf. Avolim Zimen Shlosha Matzah Shnayim. If that's three and found two. Mutar, then the mutar. We don't say they all went away, and these are other ones. There's no definite issue here. It's more reasonable to assume that one of them went away, but Shnayim Yishu will come and these two are left in place. As the birds do, they waddle away from each other. Even if they were all tied together, we say by the waddling, the knot was broken. And one left, and these two are left. And those who also when they were tied together when you left them. Obviously, if you found the two which are left that they're untied, that they're still tied, then the mutter. Whole issue is when there were three tied, one disappeared, and the other two are not tied anymore. If you designate three and found three, you left them tied and found they're not tied anymore. We're not concerned. We just say that they severed the knot. Those are also in this case as well. The body certainly permitted in this case to assume that these are the from the ones you designated. If you designated black birds and white birds, we kind of moved on in separate nests, which are separated by a wall. The next they found the white where the black were, and the black where the white were. Don't recognize them. The meaning of the kulam hachli said all the original ones are gone. These are new ones. We don't say the ones who were there switch places. Why should we assume it's them? To be honest, the Rubid Alma is many other birds in the world. Let's say it's one of the birds from elsewhere. Moshe Berurah says to tell you about where there are dovecots within 50 amos, or that the doves can fly at least a little bit. Because if that's not the case, then the more likely alternative is that they switch places because they have to be there again. Logical. Um, um, but well, that's further. We're not sure agrees. But I forgot the Elu Krobos and Nile Bahem, even though these are nearby, so be more reasonable to assume it's them. We have principle when you have a rove, which is the birds of the world, and korov, birds nearby. You go after those which are nearby. I feel because of the muchach, even though it's a clear, definite proximity. But there's no separation between the nets. And we certainly say they switch with each other. That's the derech. As opposed to when they're separate, distinct pigeonholes. Pigeonholes. Okay, but kind of also if they're distinct pigeonholes. If you find them all one spot, the blacks and the whites together. So Elu, we said whoever it was left theirs and came here. We don't say that they all went and these are new. We don't see a damaging. How would you say ransom? A strike against us. In all of them, only some of them. Same as opposed to where they switch places, then the shortcomings in all of them. So in that case, we assume that it came from elsewhere. Designate them inside the nest. Next from the nest, Asurim. Obviously, those who were there left. These are different ones. So we don't do Tole. The Elu Shul can assume that these are the ones which are inside the nest. I should claim him, even though they're the most proximate to the area in front of the nest. Because like we just said, we have to look at most of the birds in the world. We have a robe and a carve, you follow the robe. Yearly, it seems to the Gamakan it should be logically that like this previous law, it's only they all left the nest. But sure became some of them were in the nest. I mean, we'll tell these ones are also Moshe Ela, hey small, since they're those in the nest which were from yesterday. So therefore, we say so to those outside the nest. Also designate inside the nest, and found them on the opening, not outside, but on the opening of the nest. Because these are they. Since me says if you designate them in front of the nest, found them inside the nest, and why is that? The darkam likones l'tochaken. The birds outside, if you designate them on the ledge or whatever it was, the derech is go in. So therefore, we can assume it's them. Well, what goes in must come out. The derech is supposed to leave. But when they leave, they usually leave all together. So, and then, and then we would say that those the left and these are the ones. But since they remain in close proximity on the ledge, and and oh well, yeah, okay. Since they're, never mind. I'm saying it's going the wrong direction. Since uh, if you find them outside the can, you find it has to be really outside. I said before, on the Pesach of the can, it still gets to be as if it's inside the can. So he says the derech is to go out, but the derech to go out is to leave altogether. And if you found them in the Pesach, it would not be a problem. So here too, if you find them on the way in, same principle, right? They find the Pesach and they were inside beforehand, so we assume that these are they. Okay, you found them. No, sorry. Last case is you found them in front of the can. You left it in front of the can, and you found them in the can. Yeah, then found them inside. Okay, the mutter. Right. Okay, because then they were that the relationship between the can and the opening of the can right in front. There's a relationship between the can and the area in front of the can, which is a bit further. Chokimon. The die, you know, there's this one, there's even though a can, it's only if that can of source. I would say if you designate them inside the nest and found in front of the net that they're also, you should bring the should closely froth. The difference between large ones who can fly, being couched in and without, and young ones who can only waddle. The Gdolos, large ones, even though there isn't another dovecot within 50 amos, Asuras, they're also Mishunamir, the Parchum Alma. They say they flew away out in the wild beyond. But small birds, Kimul Chazal say since they waddle, they don't waddle more than 50 amos. And also, Ksharos, they only waddle, they can see another dovecot within 50 amos. If not, they don't waddle. So if there's another dovecot within 50 amos, it's awesome. If not, Vadai, Shehain, if there is no can, Vadai Shehain. Sounds like it seems there's some typo here. Vadai Shehain. It's something. It's probably my edition only. So it's probably I'm assuming that. So it says it should be Lachem Yesh can Torah Mishmam Asuras V'im Lav Einam B'Dadus. Not they don't waddle. Lachem Yesh can Torah Mishmam Asuras V'im Lav. Oh, so the whole line here is extra. Okay, the line is repeated like twice. So but Ma'aser Lav V'Adei Yesh can Torah Can. If there's no can within 50 amos, they have from this can. So there's a can within 50 amos. I can't remember because obviously that other nest is on an angle. I can't say from this dovecot. Above the chain yoni in the manner that they can't see it. Kankin with torso also permitted. The whole chain rows I can't live name as long as they don't see the other dovecot in front of them. Laid out to not go waddle. But he made elu shabatoken. They must be from those he doesn't yesterday inside the dovecot. Bracket says here, if they're flying, anyway, it should be also because of Tzeda, not just because of the Muktzah. Chav Dalet. Any Yehudi shehevi doron liyisor b'yontif, a non-Jew who brought a gift to a Jew on Yontif, b'nei yonah ktanim, young doves, mishavachas sheyesh l'bayir from dovecats he has in the city, came and she'ein tzrichim tzeda, since he's being brought in by hand, they don't have to be captured. The Gam Levin didn't bring them from outside Tchum Shabbos. Mutar Lachlam b'Yontif, allowed to eat him Yontif. But Yishulo is mean Yontif, he himself did not prepare for Yontif. Only Yisham said the Shlein Yudi ain't Tzarech Chachana. Only a Jew stuff requires Tzarech Chachana. I guess because it's separate Chachana, it's supposed to do Goy stuff. Kula Kemuchana said slow came when She'ein Lo Isser Muktzah. By God, they'll consider Muktzah Muchan because he has no Isser Muktzah. It's Kichab. There's no Isser Muktzah, so they're really it's all Muchan. But large words are also came Nasabem Isser Tzeda because the non-Jew had to do a mice of capturing them, which is alive, and it's like a mere lakum. And so they came from outside the tchum, which is by saying tough kufta as well. Then what's a ktanos betoch tchum. So bottom line is only mutter to take small birds, which we assume came from within the tchum Shabbos. Shabbos says they're also to the person from whom it was brought by mutter for others, like some of the cases by Shabbos. Chav ches. Chav hey, I'm sorry. Hashore behem yontiv. Somebody slaughters an animal yontiv. Tov lo shel afrish. It's best for him not to skin the animal after checking it, but before checking it. Checking meaning checking the lung for typhus. Leave it after you check the lung. 17 what's a treif, maybe you find the animal's treif. Also, you won't be allowed to skin it. But before the b'dika, before the checking, you're allowed to do it. You're allowed to skin it. Can't reach to me without skinning it. But I said, the skinning is part of ochel nevesh at that point. And Mishra says this because most animals are kosher. So if you can assume it's kosher, you can peel first, ask questions later. So it seems to treif also. You found the treifa. It's also to continue skinning it. Shetei imar or l'mocha yavsi harbe yuchas l'lein Yehudi, and so they have to eat the taiva to do it beforehand, because otherwise, if you're gonna have to leave it till tomorrow, you're gonna lose a lot when you sell to a non-Jew because it's gonna decompose. Why would not allow here the end, meaning that you should be allowed to skin it even if it is a treifa? On account of the beginning, because otherwise the person won't shech it and won't come shech, and Yontif won't come to Simchas Yontif. Or Shatir then Olive Nate had door sunkum, which some see like this, because we shall see you're allowed to put the hide in front of the shop to to people step on it and toughen it up, tan it that way. The zel issa derabbanan, that works by an issa derabbanan. Ava perhaps shade, but the skinny animals asmi the Torah. It's asmi the rice so low heat here. They weren't matir, just so fun. So mishum tchilas weren't matir tchilas mishum so fun. They weren't matir. We're matir so fun. We made tchilas. They weren't matir skinny because of you should check because since asmi the rice, so we don't have to use such leniencies. The Shmuel says even to skin it in a manner that is not only also because of shvus, only also Rabbana is also also. The chayk sheets is straight for the animal is found in tree for also tautula, you know how to move it. He muktzah it. Mr. Bialog says where it wasn't in misukenis. If it's in misukenis, it's in danger. Even according to Mechaber, there's no muktzah because you know it's in danger of losing his life. You're going to shech it before you can get there. So you have certainly strong das on it. She writes, even if it's even if the you found a treif, right? So now even the carcass is in a hot place in the sun, and it's going to become rancid. You now have to move it to a place of shade. Some people say that today we're machmir and treifas by the lung with several chumas, and treifas are prevalent. You can allow people to put away the carcass for later on. And geese and chickens, which don't have tarfus in the lungs, you now have to carry. Why should be also carry? That's where it's also to carry. I guess you found the treifa. Okay, but geese, which are force fed, so they're definitely muktzah because it's very likely that their esophagus is treif that got ripped. The Shmuel says that some say that this did not be able to take because muktzah. It's only according to Mechaber, and muktzah is also yontif. According to those poskim, muktzah is mutter yontif. You will carry it because it was healthy on Erev yontif. Some say this is going to everybody because it's nolan. Okay. You can sell the carcass they do not Jew. We saw just like they allow you to sell to a Jew. You shouldn't wait and not mention a price. We don't believe the non-Jew, take from him collateral. They allow this because of a loss. You shouldn't have to suffer the loss, which will undergo even overnight. Ishmael said that those who are asked for selling to a non-Jew, and it's not the primary psak. And we tell them, you can sell the hindquarters to a non-Jew, but Malcolm Shem and places where they don't traper, they don't devein and remove the forbidden fats from the hindquarters. Don't come to him today, you could get ruined by tomorrow. A rabbi adds that even kosher meat you're allowed to sell to a non-Jew if you can't find a Jew to him to sell it. And we're trying to prevent loss by whatever means possible in a day and age with no refrigeration. Because of Nishab Yantav, it's always Shech and Yantav. Nishab Erev Yantav, if it's Shech and Erev Yantav, B'chol Inyan Aser, you're not allowed to sell it, and no matter what. Davim Kor Erev Yantav, so yesterday. Elakin Lo Yel Shus L'Mach unless you didn't have time to sell yesterday, The only 4 you have to begin. Or Shema Mukrakli Tenayom Basel Sarah Pakit, or today you have to give food to the nobleman or the clerk. V'im Karlo below Mishkol, and she sell them without a weighing, without mentioning a specific sum. Perhaps an approximation, but not something specific, which looks much more like a bona fide sale, which we're trying to avoid. Tov tzadiches, dine shchita b'dine kisi b'yantiv. The halachas of slaughtering and covering the blood. Every slaughter has to show his knife to the chacham before chef. They question the chacham because in honor of the chacham. Chazal bebeitza. The b'yantiv lo yirei sakin. Chazal saying yantiv don't show the knife. Perish Rashi tam. The guy says because the mechzik uvdin the chol looks like a weekday activity. The av shem ilsa. Public makes the public spectacle. Shadaitu limkar at least people let people know what's done by a butcher. Einsham. But Rambam Perek Dal Kosabatam Shemitzera Peguma. We don't show the knife to a chacham because it might find it has a nick. V'yomer lo shu pogans, and the chacham's going to tell me it has a nick. V'yelech is going to go v'yashchizena, and it's going to sharpen it mashchezes with the sharpener on yontif. This is the time Shemi lechutz tchum. This says one of the reasons because the problem is going to go outside the tchum. You might, if you're trying to show a chacham and there's no chacham nearby, is going to go follow and find him even outside the tchum. He says it's also to require, it's also to check the knife because it's like seeing the mum of a bechor. Sinas Rishusah giving permission, the chacham giving permission to use that knife. It's ketikun davar b'yantiv. It's like fixing something yontif. It says look us up to Talmud Rambam. It says it only says the Rambam's rationale, which is that you might find it damaged and go sharpen it. There's the differences in different applications for the depending on the reason we will take. The Rashi near the Dafka Tabach Shadagalasos came Bechov Avsham Milsa. The Rashi says it's specifically a doctor who does this on weekdays, and therefore it's public what he does. They say a doctor, a slaughterer. A slaughterer who does this on a weekday, so then it makes a big spectacle at the public as well. But it's just a generic person listening, but it's not a problem. I'm not concerned with my saying. Sharif, and only be by a slaughter. You usually goes by a chacham, and maybe it's going to go to the Shabbos outside the tchum. Blowing it's not concerned by a regular person. It seems to me that's the case. The Rashi Rif ain't there is no prohibition or day and age. We that where we don't show the knives to the chacham. We're there sham. Because they on their honor. They better be. There's no public spectacle. Going to take it outside the room. People don't usually necessarily use it. Our Rama Mar Gam Adam also. Gam Eden also. But from the Rambam and the Baamar, it's also on no matter what, and it's also today. Because the issue is the chacham has to check the to see it's not pogum, so it's actually not just an honor has halachic ramifications, and the same is about more. No, the reason it's about more is because it's like Riyas Mumin Shal B'chor. And it's also, again, the mimatzah, you have to show it to the chacham. So Rama Ma'amar Gam L'chol Adam Aser. It's also by any person to show the knife. So Shemi Ashkenazim right because you might come to sharpen it. The other thing it looks like fixing. It also leads to the Ram, which I thought about the Chacham. If the slaughter is the Talmud Chacham. There's no concern he might come to sharpen the knife. The Talmud Chacham mutter the Talmud Chacham loyle chutz l'tchum. Yeah, we're not chashish. Going to go outside the tchum to find a Talmud Chacham to another Talmud Chacham to show his knife. Rashimor also, according to Rashi about more, however, it is also even for a Talmud Chacham. Can move on. It can be understood. That's the Rashi's reason because that's moved to the chol, and the Rambam's reason because you have to check that it is. I'm sorry, the Moh's reason is because looks like mumin or bechor, looks like mumin. According to them, you have to do a yontiv also, and therefore be pushed back. No, I know what I'm saying. Therefore, you can show your knife to the chacham.